Hi, everybody. Testing my streaming again. Seeing if I'm on. Oh, yeah, I'm on. Okay. Seems to be working. Okay, so yesterday I guess I had some problems. Things are always changing, so updates are always necessary. And, um, today we have breaking news on day 1597 days since Richard was brutally code red murdered on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, as a soldier with Delta Battery 143. And we have connected his criminal trafficking with his unit. We gave that information days ago, and now we have connected his unit member with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, which further connects the trafficking, the unit with the Walmart mass shooting. The trafficking that we're talking about is the weapons trafficking, the ammunition trafficking, and that is very interesting since the other information that we're getting, of course, Glendon Oakley Jr. Exposed that on CNN with Wolf Blitzer, the M4s that were there on that day in the mall, in shots that were in the mall in Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, which absolutely negates the lone shooter in the Walmart, the Cielo Vista Walmart narrative that was fed to the public very quickly. Even on that very same day, they didn't even waste any time. They had it all orchestrated because, the evidence absolutely shows a different narrative. And now we have connections with the Walmart mass shooting, with Richard's case, with Richard's unit, with the weapons trafficking, ammunition trafficking. It's not limited to that. We know that there's a lot, all kinds of criminal trafficking with the narcotics, with the human trafficking, with the child, hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied minors that were registered through Fort Bliss. Numbers put on their clothes, numbers put on their skin, their back and stuff. And we have loads of witness testimony about how horrible situation was in that for those children, and that they are mostly dead now. They're mostly dead, and many different reasons, because they were all different ages, right, all the way up to 17. So it is really shocking. And now we have breaking news about Credit Card Girl. Remember, I was protecting her, Credit Card Girl. And because, people are innocent until proven guilty. And Dannia Catzin has proven herself guilty. She's on the most wanted list again for the fraud, for the credit card fraud, for the theft. And that comes with, and of course, her husband is Jonathan Ambrose, also 14380A there on Fort Bliss. And, what comes with the trafficking is fraud, because you have the fraud of the serial numbers on the weapons, you have the fraud of the inventory, you have the fraud on the ordering, because they order way more than what they need, and the fraud on the money laundering, the bids and all that. That's where Nadal Baim is suspected to have come in with Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado of the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM. And of course, it goes all the way up to Major General Clem Coward. You have Lieutenant Colonel Michael Roddick. You have First Sergeant Jay Paulin. And Jay Paulin is absolutely connected with them. His family is now connected with, well, they've been connected. We've just found out Bliss Avenue. And of course, Bliss Avenue is where Dannia Catzin and Rosa Maria and Jonathan Ambrose and their connection with KTSM. I mean, this is a well connected criminal group, and and they were absolutely taking advantage of their connections for crime to hurt others, to hurt El Paso, right there on the El Paso, Juarez, Mexico border of the United States that was breached because of the likes of Veronica Escobar, the politicians there that have oversight that are absolutely now, we know, connected to Bliss Avenue. And Mario Reskin Ortiz is connected to Bliss Avenue, y'all. He's the imposter medical examiner that is, getting 430. He needs to pay that all back. There needs to be loads of restitution from Veronica Escobar, restitution from Dannia Catzin. When you're a thief, when you're committing fraud, restitution from Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. They need to pay it all back and then some, four times the amount. But, we'll let a court decide all of that. But Dannia Catzin now is, has warrants out for her arrest, and she is on the most wanted list for, and is, so if you have information, please call 941-677-0060 and know that her arrest and her connections with Jay Paulin and his family, that, our word is that they were committing a fraud and forgery, manipulating documents. The same thing with Dallas Hart's family. The same thing within the unit, that there was a lot of fraud, forgery going on. And then, of course, with the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, who, is a very powerful court, but yet it is absolutely in chaos because the entire panel of judges, there's not one that is elected, not one that we've seen, heard, whatever. There's not one that's legitimate. There's not one judge on that court that can sit on that court that is legitimate, that has jurisdiction, that has authority, real authority. They are all impersonators. They're criminal. They're imposters, criminal, and they have been criminal since 2015. And this is another thing that should be right there charged against Representative Veronica Escobar and many others, like Sam Medrano, Judge Sam Medrano, absolutely controlling the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court with these impersonators, these imposters, these criminal imposters that have issued orders that are fraudulent. And absolutely the word that we're getting back is they issued orders in Richard's whistleblowing case and also in his murder case. And they were protecting the criminals. That's what they were doing. They're so criminal, and they really abused this power that wasn't even theirs because they were unauthorized. They had no authority. They had no jurisdiction. And it's kind of like Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks has no authority. He messed up. He messed up bad, and then he made it worse by tampering with official documents. And this is what these imposters on the court did. They issued orders tampering with cases, and to protect the trafficking network, to protect the billions of dollars. Just in narcotics, it's billions of dollars, 90 billions of dollars. And then, of course, you have the weapons trafficking and everything. So it's a huge criminal uh, motivation, right? A huge motivation. And this criminal group took advantage of it. So you have the imposter fraud there at the DA's office. He's a usurper, Bill Hicks. Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the law says that he's a criminal. The law says that what he did is wrong. The law says he's not the DA. Okay. And the same thing with Mario Raskin Ortiz, whether you like him or not. I don't particularly like him because we have evidence that he really messed things up bad for bad reasons, that he's up to no good. And he's not qualified and he is illegal. He's illegal. He absolutely cannot be the chief medical examiner and he cannot be in this country. And then, of course, you have the imposters that call themselves judges, but they're not. They have no authority, that mess with so many people's lives. Over 90% of all cases go through that magistrate court, including Patrick Crucius's. And, so that's all fraud. That's, and it makes you wonder where is his family because they can absolutely, he's so visible, they can absolutely sue um, for all this fraud that they have committed against Patrick Crucius and his rights, um, and get him to speak out because we know that he could not have possibly did this by himself. We have that confirmation from Austin. Austin said, yes, he didn't work on his own. So all of this is being investigated. They're juggling it politically now that President Trump is really really, I think he's the president right now. I think the swearing in is going to be a formality after watching the Notre Dame. And of course, if it wasn't for the reopening of Notre Dame, would he be in Hawaii commemorating Pearl Harbor, which, uh, there's so many things to talk about on these live streams. And just because I don't mention them, don't think that I don't observe them. But absolutely prayers go out for all of the families that still, through Pearl Harbor, have paid the ultimate price. Our families have paid the ultimate price, right? So, you know, uh, our hearts are always broken when something like that happens, and it's all and then the Syria thing, right? It's just Syria seems totally orchestrated, in my opinion. Um, and it comes at the cost of so many lives, right? But it seemed like in Syria they're just marching. This whole thing with Pearl Harbor, is just, hopefully we can get to the bottom of all of that one day, all of the questions that people have. But we have to remember those that were absolutely serving their position with honor and pride and patriotism and lost their lives. So we have a beautiful country. We have a beautiful constitution that we defend, that we should defend. And in Texas, a beautiful Texas constitution that gives the right to vote, the right to have power over these very powerful courts. It's just amazing to me. And we need to really honor all of that. And then of course, uh, just day before yesterday, I know it's was St. Nicholas Day, which is a huge day for us. I've always observed that in my family since I was a child. Santa Claus came on the 6th of December. That's just the way it was. That's the day that we observe St. Nicholas from Myra, a great bishop that, and I love it that we celebrate him on the 6th of December, because, it's Advent time, and Advent is preparing yourself mentally, preparing yourself physically. Of course, we decorate and we make cookies and we put up the lights, and we buy presents and wrap them and all the beautiful things, sent off, in our case, that have to send off packages and that to our loved ones. And when you hear the spirit of Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus, um, when you hear the spirit of him, the giving, the humility, when you know the story of him protecting children, protecting uh, those that are on ships, he's the great patron saint of sailors, and coming at the time of the Pearl Harbor, coming at the time of this um, accountability for the hundreds of thousands of children that were so abused, that are now mostly dead, that were trafficked. It is really worth taking time out and reading about him and preparing your heart, getting in that spirit of giving and standing up for what is right. So yeah, we absolutely, every year, you can ask our children, we've always celebrated December 6th, St. Nicholas Day. And, so there's so much going on. And then you have this release of the credit card girl being on the most wanted. Yeah, she is. She's absolutely most wanted, but there are several people most wanted. And I think they are pointing at Bill Hicks too. Um, I'm wondering who's going to be first, Bill Hicks or Dannia Catzin, to be arrested. And I'm really looking forward um, to Leilani Hart being arrested, and Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia being arrested, Jay Paulin being arrested, Tavita Nusa. There's so many that need to be arrested. So absolutely looking forward, and to that, and we should, because these are major criminals, major. The crime is so, I can't even tell you. Um, it's been an absolute nightmare to have experienced this, to live through this, the hurt, the pain that they've caused, and what they did to Richard, the um, the orders, the illegal orders from the court, what they did to him there, what they did to him in the military. The retaliation was not just the military and the abuse of power and the tools in the military, the non-judicial punishments that they issued him. It was also through the courts, through the civilian courts, what they did. And also the bully. It was just absolutely hell. And then to dishonor his, after they murdered him, to dishonor his remains and to dismember him, and to not give his remains to us after they declared him officially murdered on Fort Bliss. Um, yeah, it is. The crimes are absolutely beyond abusive. And so we're, filing, and coming on every day to let everyone know, and to ask everyone to please share, and to tell you that we do love you, that we are so glad that you listen day in and day out, and to ask to continue to share, to continue to listen. And we really, really appreciate it so much. And it is for El Paso, it's for our country. Of course, it's for our family also, for Richard also. And so please share. And as soon as we get an arrest, we will be, we're eager, and we're waiting, and we're wanting it to all happen, all the account, this wave to hit, this wave of accountability that we're getting word is happening. And so thank you so much. God bless you, and